My brother destroyed my marriage and now wants half my $3 million inheritance. The DNA test results came back yesterday, and after 8 years of raising what I thought was my daughter, I discovered she's actually my brother's child. Now he has the audacity to demand I split our late father's inheritance with him. Let me give you the backstory that led to this nightmare. Growing up, my younger brother Marcus was always the star of our family. While I was the quiet, studious type who preferred books to sports, Marcus was charismatic, athletic, and could charm anyone within minutes. Our parents, especially Mom, absolutely adored him. He could do no wrong in their eyes. The favoritism was obvious, but I accepted it. I helped Marcus with his homework, covered for him when he got in trouble, and even lent him money regularly. I told myself this was just what big brothers did, but Marcus never reciprocated. When I needed help or support, he was nowhere to be found. Things escalated in high school when Marcus's jokes became increasingly cruel. He'd hide my medication, spread rumors about me to classmates, and once even convinced a girl I had a crush on to publicly humiliate me at a school dance. When I complained to our parents, they dismissed it as boys being boys and told me to toughen up. The breaking point came during my senior year when Marcus deliberately sabotaged my college application by intercepting and destroying my acceptance letter to MIT. I only found out weeks later when the admissions office called about missing paperwork. By then, it was too late. I'd already committed to my backup school. Dad finally saw Marcus for who he really was that day. He was furious and threatened to kick Marcus out of the house. It was the first time I'd ever seen Dad take my side, and honestly, it felt incredible to finally be believed. After that incident, Marcus's behavior changed. He became more subtle in his cruelty, but the resentment never disappeared. We maintained an uneasy truce through college, barely speaking unless absolutely necessary. During my final year, I met Sarah at a campus coffee shop. She was brilliant, funny, and somehow saw past my awkward exterior. We fell in love quickly, and when she got pregnant during our senior year, we decided to get married right after graduation. Marcus was surprisingly supportive during our wedding planning. He helped with arrangements, gave a heartfelt best man speech, and seemed genuinely happy for us. I thought maybe we'd finally moved past our childhood issues. Sarah and I built a good life together. I landed a great job in tech, we bought a house, and our daughter Emma brought us so much joy. For several years, everything seemed perfect. But I started noticing small things. Sarah would get secretive phone calls that she'd take in another room. She'd go on girls' trips that she was vague about. There were unexplained charges on our credit card, and times when she'd come home late from work with flimsy excuses. I convinced myself I was being paranoid. Sarah was a devoted wife and mother. She'd never do anything to hurt our family. The truth came out in the worst possible way. I came home early from a business trip and found Marcus's car in our driveway. Through our bedroom window, I saw them together. The betrayal was devastating. Not just the affair, but the realization that this had probably been going on for years. When I confronted Sarah, she broke down completely. She admitted that she and Marcus had been having an affair since our wedding year, and that Emma might not be my biological daughter. She'd been torn between us, but stayed with me because I was the safer choice. More stable, better provider, better father material. The paternity test confirmed my worst fears. Emma, the little girl I'd raised and loved as my own daughter, was actually Marcus's child. I filed for divorce immediately. During the proceedings, more devastating details emerged. Sarah admitted that half of our date nights early in our marriage had actually been covers for her to meet Marcus. Many of Emma's milestones, first steps, first words, had happened while I was traveling for work, and Marcus had been there instead of me. When I told our parents about the affair, Mom's first instinct was to defend Marcus. She claimed that these things happen and that I should forgive him for the sake of family unity. Dad, however, was absolutely livid. He told Marcus that he was no longer welcome in their home and that he was cutting him out of his will entirely. Marcus tried reaching out to me multiple times, but I blocked him completely. He lost his job due to the scandal. We'd worked at the same company. And Sarah left him once she realized he couldn't provide the stability she wanted. She moved across the country with Emma, and I haven't seen my daughter since. Last month, Dad passed away from a heart attack. His will left everything to me. The family business, the house, investments, everything totaling about $3 million. Marcus was specifically excluded, receiving only the legally required $1 to prevent him from contesting the will. Yesterday, Marcus showed up at my door for the first time in 3 years. He looked terrible, thin, unshaven, wearing clothes that had seen better days. He told me he'd been working odd jobs, living in a studio apartment, and struggling to pay child support for Emma. Then he had the nerve to ask me to share the inheritance with him. He claimed that Dad was manipulating him into changing his will, that families should forgive each other, and that Emma deserved financial security from both their fathers. I told him to get off my property and never her. He started crying, saying he was sorry, and that he made mistakes, but that I was his only family left. He begged me to remember the good times we had as kids. But here's the thing, I can't remember any good times. My entire childhood was spent walking on eggshells around him, trying to avoid his next cruel prank or manipulation. He systematically destroyed my self-esteem, sabotaged my opportunities, and then stole my wife and daughter. Now he wants me to bail him out because he's facing the consequences of his actions. He's not sorry for what he did, he's sorry he got caught and that it didn't work out the way he planned. Some family members are pressuring me to be the bigger person and help him out. They say Emma is innocent in all this and deserves support. But I can't separate Emma from the betrayal. Every time I think about her, I remember that she's the product of my brother's affair with my wife, and that I spent years loving a child who was never really mine. I've been in therapy trying to process all of this, but I'm still struggling. Part of me feels guilty for cutting off a blood relative who's clearly struggling. But a bigger part of me feels like I finally have the power in our relationship, and I'm not giving it up. Marcus made his choices. He chose to torment me for years, chose to have an affair with my wife, chose to let me raise his child while continuing the deception. Now he has to live with the consequences. I'm keeping the inheritance, all of it, and I'm never speaking to him again. Update. Some people have asked why I won't maintain a relationship with Emma. The truth is, I tried at first, but every time I saw her, I was reminded of the betrayal. She has Marcus's eyes and smile, and it was like looking at a constant reminder of how my brother and wife deceived me for years. Sarah made it clear that any involvement with Emma would mean dealing with her too, and I can't handle that. Maybe someday when Emma's older, we can have a relationship, but right now, I need to focus on healing myself. I know some of you think I'm being cruel, but I refuse to set myself on fire to keep others warm. I spent my entire life putting Marcus's needs before my own, and look where it got me. For once, I'm choosing myself.